Hey everyone. So in my 2022 psychic prediction video, I talked about how there could be some issues around the general geography of the world, of Moscow and Finland and Sweden, and for some reason Sweden specifically came up on my mind in relation to this possible war or struggle of some sort that happens, maybe explosion or something like that in that general area of the world for 2022. So I was asked by some people to do readings on those areas. I was specifically asked about Sweden and Finland, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I got when I did a reading on those two places. So going straight into Sweden. So, Sweden, when I tuned into Sweden, I immediately saw machines pumping, and it was like this industrial scene. And so I was getting that there's going to be this industrial growth for the country. And it may be happening a little bit already, I'm not sure. But I do see this happening in the future and it influencing other countries to the south, east, and west of it, not so much north. I don't think there is much north of Sweden, but definitely southeast, west. I'm seeing it kind of like branching out like a network, connecting with other countries through this industrial economic growth. And I saw it as a very slow and steady growth. However, in around 2 to 5 years. That would be approximately 2024, 2027, something around those years, somewhere around there. I see the economy kind of coming to a halt, but it's not a complete halt. Maybe just a very temporary stop, because I do see it from there continuing, but like at a much slower pace. To the point where it's just barely getting by. Um, I don't see this being a tragedy or anything. I see people having food. I see the economy working for the individuals and it not really being too big of an issue. However, it could be more of an issue for large corporations or economic growth at large. Um, I do see people being very tied into their jobs, and there just being little minor hiccups around that, around 2024, but nothing too major. So what does seem to be the big deal here for Sweden is trade routes. I saw an image of what the way that I saw it was a golden boat, and that's obviously symbolic. It was gold showing its importance and its benefit to the country of Sweden, and how this is going to be a change in, well, maybe an increase in trade through boats to Sweden. Maybe an increase, maybe just some change to it. I'm not sure which one, probably both. Probably an increase and a change to the um, the trade routes. And um, also coming up was a possibility of crop failure, although again I didn't see this affecting people to the point where people are starving or anything like that. But maybe there's some sort of issue with, you know, farming or food growth of some sort. It could also be related to trade because it showed up when I was reading the trade route stuff, so there seems to be some sort of link there. So Sweden, I was getting, there will be this time period where people are kind of a little weary about the economy and just kind of holding back and waiting for it to recover. And this could take about 5 years for the economy to cover, is what I'm getting. But it won't be too rough of a time. And I get that it'll go back to normal. But it won't be entirely normal because I'm also getting mass production of export materials becoming a thing for Sweden, and just more exports going out to the rest of the world, and that being really good for the economy of the country. And so what I was getting was that within 10 to 15 years, cities expanding, and the way that I was seeing it was just tall buildings going up and the city getting bigger and bigger, and more people moving there. So I was estimating this will probably happen around the years of 2032 to 2037. So going back to the original reason why I was reading this, in relation to the possible explosions or war or battles, conflict going on around that area, which I think is most likely probably linked to Ukraine. I've made a more recent video after my 2022 psychic prediction video where I realized that what I was seeing was probably linked to Ukraine, and I'd even talked about that literally a year ago without realizing that, or I forgot that I specifically mentioned Russia and Ukraine. Oh, there's my doorbell. Alright, sorry about that. I'm just going to keep going. So anyways, yeah, I did predict the Russia and Ukraine conflict last year before it happened, and so I think that's what I was also seeing for next year coming up here. So why, when I was reading that, did the word Sweden in particular pop up in my mind? And when I tuned in to ask that question, what I got was that within 3 years from now, the economy will be hit kind of hard, but it will be very temporary from the surrounding struggles going on in the world. However, it's not really that negative of a situation. In fact, I saw it as being kind of like the challenge that spurs growth, so to speak. So it may be definitely negative at first, but I see it leading to more positive growth as a whole for the country, and new trade agreements with the countries to the south of Sweden. However, there may be a battle in the ocean near the shore. I was seeing there possibly being even potentially explosions going up onto the landmass or affecting just the shores of Sweden. That would be the southern shore, specifically where there's all this trade route activity that I'm seeing coming up in the future. So that could be problematic, but I don't really see it being detrimental to the whole of the country or being like the end of the world or anything too extreme. And I kept getting that it would, in the long term, actually only strengthen the country by creating the initiative to change and evolve and strengthen its economy. And sometimes negative things spur positive growth, and so I did see that being the case for Sweden. So moving on to Finland. When I tuned into Finland, the first thing that I got was farming and like the kind of peaceful vibe. And I honestly don't know much of anything about. I'm pretty bad at geography in general, so I don't even know if that makes sense with Finland, but that's what was coming to me regardless. Just like this peaceful kind of farming vibe. And what I was getting was that within 3 years or so, or maybe after 3 years, just around that area of time, that there's going to be this kind of changing of the whole planet as a whole. And Finland will be taking interest of that and making very minor adjustments to society in Finland, just to accommodate the newer evolving social trends and social interactions and just different ways of doing things that will be coming on to the scene just throughout the whole world. I think this will have to do a lot with technology in particular, but also just human culture. What I do get from Finland, though, is that it's not going to change as much as Sweden. It's going to hold on to its traditional lifestyle, and only small sections will change. I kind of saw it as like a picture of like a town square, and then there's like all of the rest of the country, but then like the town square, there's just like one little strip of it that changes, and like some small details kind of have a ripple effect to everywhere else of like slight adjustments, but ultimately it's really just this one little strip that changes and looks completely different, but everywhere else just looks, pretty much the same. So I don't see like massive changes coming for Finland. I do see them slowly incorporating new technology a little bit here and there, but still maintaining the rural integrity of their culture and just kind of how they have always been, I guess you could say. However, I got that in 8 or 9 years from now, around the year 2030 to 2031, somewhere around there, I do get there will be more of a shift to the society of Finland, and it will become more high-tech, kind of all at once, and it will be kind of, the whole world will be doing that. It's not just Finland, but I do see that happening, specifically 2030, 2031-ish for Finland. Everywhere will be affected slightly different, but Finland, I specifically saw an increase in the efficiency of food production, an increase in the efficiency of transportation, and just a general like kind of upgrade to the what am I trying to say here? The society, the economy. That's what I'm trying to say. The economy. However, it will still maintain its simple kind of lifestyle, the kind of traditional values, I guess you could say, compared to Sweden, which will be just like growing into a metropolis kind of in comparison to Finland. So I also don't see the economic troubles that Sweden was kind of having that I'm seeing in the future. However, there may be some minor effect, but I don't really see it being much of any effect for Finland. Just kind of unfazed. So, of course, I'm not claiming to see every detail of everything that happens, so I could be missing some pieces, but that's what I see for these countries coming up in the future. So I hope you got something out of this. What I found from doing this reading was that I don't think that these are places that necessarily need to be avoided. Maybe Sweden potentially around the coast could be potentially problematic, but ultimately I don't think that there's anything to worry about. I think that the trouble is coming from further south, maybe in the ocean, maybe Ukraine, maybe both of those, maybe more than those. But Sweden and Finland seem relatively safe. So, thanks for watching and have a great day.